inject you, right, with this serum, right? And this serum will allow you to resist radiation if you're exposed to massive amounts of radiation. Okay, let's say that serum. Okay, I produces a tiny amount of sensitivity, okay, at the tip of your finger, okay? Tiny amount of sensitivity at the tip of your finger, okay? And it's true that you may not ever experience a massive amount of radiation. However, okay, if you were to experience a massive amount of radiation, it would be so much worth it, the sacrifice that you had given over that. And
yeah,
so
that's not what
directly.
you're. Yeah, it's not analogous because
I
you're
think the
actually
biggest-
missing. Hold on.
Not
Let me
analogous?
finish. He's talking to me. So look, it's not analogous because you're actually missing a lot of the benefits of having an uncircumcised penis.
Look, I
There
already
are
gave
more
the
there are more
analog
benefits.
that you
There are
lose
more benefits.
sensitivity.
There are more benefits than just having
Look,
more
a
sensitivity.
child is not.
Sure, Zycron, if you want to make
a child is not going to be in war, right? At least give the child a chance to make the choice when they grow up.
Just tell me why it's not
If you're gonna make
analogous.
the claim,
Because I'll tell you why. Because you're not
Folks,
only.
Can I interrupt just for one moment?
Fuck
I
my
have a
ass.
totally tangent thing. May I, my sweetie from Australia just came online and she asked what room I'm in. And I'd like to ask the owner, mod,
You can invite anybody
mods,
here you want, dude.
can I invite her?
Yeah,
How
you
do I
can.
do that? What's the link to
You just right click and then you say like you go to invite to server and then you just click on God list.
And that's okay with the mods and
Yes,
owners here?
It's absolutely fine.
Yeah,
But
Is that
anyways,
okay?
you can invite
Shamos.
anyone. You can invite anyone you want, dude. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Shamos.
Thank you.
So Shamos, look, dude, you actually a big part that I was actually talking about this earlier is so you're actually losing girth when you cut off your skin. So like men who have foreskin are just thicker than other men. So for one, women love thick dicks, right? Like they're likely to never admit this. Some of them probably will, but yeah, they love thick dicks. They also loved rib dicks, right? That's why you have rib dildos and shit like that. So your fucking dick is ripped. That's actually oftentimes why people say like it's harder to have anal sex with an uncircumcised guys because he's a little bit thicker and he's got that rib. Basically what I'm saying is yeah, there's actually pleasure that you can give to a woman for having an uncircumcised dick, and
Let me just stop you there.
So there's utility there too.
Let me just stop you there. So do you see how mine was actual tangible objective, and this is the key word, tangible objective medical benefit, okay? Now what do you point out? You point out subjective preference amongst some women, okay? Do you see that there's not an analog? Now mine is objective. That's going to carry over in every single context, okay? Every single context where your health is relevant, mine carries over. Now yours only carries over if and there's the women that have those subjective mind states. Okay, so if you think that's a knockdown, you're shitty. You're really shitty at arguing. And so I want to say another thing, and I'm gonna show you why the
it's
analogy.
It's not a mind state, Shamos.
I'm going to show you why the analogy I've created is robust. Okay, and this is what a robust analogy is. Okay, so the reason I said with the World War II, normally you wouldn't be in that situation, just like you wouldn't be in the situation being exposed to radiation. There's one of the analogs. Okay, that's what you need for an analogy. There's one of the analogs. Okay, so when you get injected with the serum, that's the analog of getting your foreskin cut off. Okay, and that's going to protect you against the radiation. It's going to protect you against those instances of like this World War II sanitation problems. Okay, and so there's another analog. Okay, where was the third analog? That when you got the serum put in you, it would destroy a little bit of sensitivity at the tip of your fingers, much like it would destroy the sensitivity around the tip of your penis. And so I was taking away something there, but I was showing that as a cost-benefit analysis, it wouldn't be enough. And so I count that analogy to be so robust that any motherfucker that tells me that that's not analogous is a fucking moron.
Shamos, you just aren't accounting for the variables. Hold on. You're not accounting for.
You made your point.
Okay, let me speak. Anyways, you're not accounting for all the variables that come with having your penis circumcised or uncircumcised. You're not accounting for it. It's not that robust. That's all I want to say.
That's shameless, but you're not given like the child can grow up later and decide, and people do this, grow up later and decide to get circumcised. Why is it so? Like, don't you think it would be more? Well, at least give the child a choice, right?
Yeah, not only that, but with like anesthetics, like fuck. Holy shit.
I don't think that that's going to hold, Theo, because I could point to many instances in which we don't give child choices if we think it's in their benefit.
Yeah,
now,
but we don't.
If I go to give a child an injection, like polio injection, it might not want to get the shot. But I don't give a fuck if that kid doesn't want to get the shot, okay? Because it's to his benefit.
Yeah,
now, my argument says that that's to his benefit.
Yeah, but
so that doesn't touch anything I said.
I can turn your argument on the head, on his head, right? And I can
Please do so. Please do so.
I can simply say, like, for example, I don't need to get certain types of vaccinations done unless I go to Africa, right? Because in Africa, I have to worry about malaria and so on, right? So I would have to get these vaccinations done, right? But so if you use your example for World War II, then we could just simply say, well, when it becomes a risky situation, then we go ahead and we act and make a decision then. There's no situation when a child's being born, but they're actually concerned about sanitation. I mean, in like 99%, especially in America, that they're worried about that, right? That's not the motivation behind it. So you do these type of preventions when they become necessary, when people become at risk. You don't do it when the risk is so low. That's just dumb. Like, some off chance that this kid's gonna end up in fucking Nazi Germany fighting a war, and it's not gonna have. There's not gonna.
Well, it's also a thing that a lot of young boys aren't the best when it comes to sanitation. Okay, and a lot of parents don't have the ability to go in the shower and wash them every single time. Okay, and so a young 10-year-old
Well,
boy
that's why you teach them, right?
Listen, a young 10-year-old boy is often left to his own devices in the shower. Okay, and so with that being said, there's other reasons to think that it might just be better to go ahead and take care of it then.
Yeah, but I think you're probably making arguments about cutting a woman's clitoris off. Would you make arguments for that?
If cutting a woman's clitoris off?
Yeah.
So Zycron, you've been claiming that there are health benefits to having a foreskin, but I've just posted meta-analysis for 8 different types of disease that points to circumcision being beneficial. So would you like to point to some evidence that it's sanitary?
I actually said, Brian, you fucking dunce, that I literally clarified. I said, yeah, there are certainly studies to show that there are actual health benefits to being circumcised, right? But there's also health benefits to being uncircumcised, right?
I'm looking.
If you know how to wash yourself,
please a woman, your penis being thicker?
I want those studies. Like, that's what I'm
asking for. Guys, I have a 9-year-old child, turns 10 soon.
Ella.
Yeah?
Just reduce the gain on your mic or something. It's loud as fuck.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
Zycron, before you call me a dunce, I was asking for you to post those studies. But where are the studies that say that it's beneficial to circumcise?
Oh, hang on for a second.
I don't have them on me.
It's a matter of hygiene. It is a matter of hygiene.
I'm interested in them, yeah.
Oh you have to really tell the child to pull the foreskin back and let it rinse there with soap, not to scrub it, not to let the soap rinse.
Zycron, I am interested in the studies just because... like, I'm not trying to attack you. It's just like every study I found, every meta I found points in the opposite direction. So if you have those, I'd be interested in seeing.
Yeah, but Brian, I'm skeptical of those because I think there's like there's motivations to how those foreskins because of like the type of products that are created.
They're meta-analysis. They're meta-analysis. So it's metas of every study available.
Yeah, but
what better evidence could I?
I've heard people on NPR and on the radio talk about this, and they said, like, I've heard I got people who are like matured, right, and had sexual experiences and had their foreskins removed. And they said, like, they regret it. They did it because, like, their parents were Jewish or whatever. They eventually got circumcised, whatever.
These are meta-analysis from data banks. Like,
I'm telling you from personal experiences of talking to people, and they tell me that their sexual experiences has been greatly diminished because of them being circumcised.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about sexual experience. I'm talking about health claim.
I wanted to clarify.
Does it matter if you're circumcised or not?
Zycron, I think it's immoral to circumcise children. I'm just thinking that Zycron's health claim is so far unsubstantiated, and so it's interesting.
I just want to be clear here. Yeah, I could find those studies for you. But regardless, if we agree that it's just unnecessary at base, like, I mean, ultimately we can account for a lot of these things.
So basically, my position is like,
but also I just want to say something else. I want to say something else for the record that I don't even think Shamos's argument's really going to hold water very soon, because the way that sanitation is going to be done, like let's say I was even on a desert island, I don't even think that it's reasonable to assume that I couldn't sanitize an uncircumcised penis there, even if I didn't have like access to really easy to find shit, like for instance, like no rinse wash, where you just like kind of put it over your penis.
If you're on an island, it kind of implies that you're near the ocean.
So yeah, because you could
the
wash your dick
salinity
in
of the
that's what
salt
I was
water
going to
is
say.
actually kind of sanitizing in itself.
Yeah. So if you're actually smart, you'll actually learn that you can sanitize your penis just fine.
Yeah,
So
why couldn't they do that in World War II?
So Seamus, there are some diseases that are
during the siege of Stalingrad. Why couldn't they do that then? Explain to me why historically they couldn't.
What
are
What the hell are you talking about?
Were they
Why couldn't they
near a
do
body of
that?
water? Were they near a body of water? Were they near a body of water?
I've already told you the relevant facts. It was freezing cold in the fucking winter. If you pulled your pants down, you lost your penis. Many people lost their penises. They lost their ears. They lost the tip of their nose. They
lost their
a shitload of
penises
stuff.
in Stalingrad? Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just pulling
I
their
never
pants
heard of it.
down?
That's like the most extreme example you could ever give, Shamo.
Yeah, do you have a link for that?
Yes.
It doesn't.
Do you have a link for that?
What I'm saying is there's more than just extreme examples, is what I'm saying.
No, it
If
really
they can't
is,
pull their
though.
pants down, how did they piss?
Zycron.
Yeah,
some
did they piss their pants?
Some of these things aren't related to just general cleanliness. Like some of the studies were on like things like prostate cancer or types of like UTIs, right? So it's not just fully things that you can just clean up, right? Yeah. So like these things, it's not just a cleanliness thing. Like there appears to be something systematic and mechanistic there.
Yeah, we can look into that. I'm open to evidence, but ultimately, I feel like
I'll tell you this. Let's create a list of the benefits of each, right? And so you have your penis is thicker. Okay. What else did you have? What else can you rally? Okay, because we've got a mountain of evidence that shows that it's much more cleaner and much more better and correlates to a bunch of other problems like urinary tract infections, etc. So give us what?
No,
okay, so your penis is thicker.
No, wait a minute.
You're mildly more sensitive. Your penis is thicker, and what else do you have, Zycron?
Well, okay, so just to be clear, I would have to provide the evidence for you, but yeah, I think that there's actually an associated. There's less risk of getting particularly genital herpes.
So I've posted a study on that. No, PPV. It's not. It's not the case. Yeah, genital herpes and PPV. It's higher. If you're uncircumcised.
It is just the same. Where are you getting? Hang on, guys. Where are you getting all your facts from?
Wait. So just to be clear, is that a statistical analysis or is that?
Yeah. So these are all meta-analysis. So it's
wait.
All,
no. Wait. You're not understanding my question. Is it an analysis of people who have uncircumcised penises and have HPV?
Yeah.
That's not reliable. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking. It could be that. Again, it could be the case that people who are uncircumcised have higher instances of HPV, but actually still have a resistance to it. That actually could be
they adjust for these factors in the metas.
Yeah, well, I would have to see that because
I posted the most recent one from 2012 that addresses HPV.
You're making an empirical claim. Now you just post the evidence. You can't.
Yeah, no, I will. I'll get around.
Just read the 2012 paper that I posted, Zycron, and that's the one that directly addresses what you're concerned about. They adjust for these factors.
Guys, can I ask something, please?
I'd just be interested in seeing if there is anything that's beneficial for it, because it looks like it's not. And so sort of what my system would look like is like, you don't do it at birth, you don't do it anesthesia. You do it at like you do it like eight or so.
Something
under like anesthesia, right? And that maybe that's okay. Or even like if we could off-put it to like later years, or even just research like and vaccines and stuff for this stuff. Like this just solves the entire problem anyways.
All right. Ella's been trying to get something out for a while. Go ahead.
Yes, please. So first of all, is my is my microphone still that loud?
No, you're good. We can all hear you, I assume.
Okay, thank you. So if someone posts a link or whatever, where do I have to look?
In general text.
Okay, thank you, Ta. And then I would like to know where you got your. Is it a fact what you're talking about that it's better not to be better to be circumcised, or do you have medical facts
if
about
people
that?
want me to go grab that, I could go grab that. I was just talking about the claim that it's more healthy to be
because I
circumcised,
just wanted to say I'm from Germany. Yeah, I'm from Germany.
It's better to have sex when you're not circumcised.
No, that is rubbish. That is absolute rubbish.
It's a qualitative claim, right?
That is absolute rubbish. I'm coming from Germany, right? I live in Australia, and my whole family and most of the people are there. They are not circumcised because what for, right? And you really just have to show the child early enough, even if you're a single mom, to pull the foreskin back and let it run with the soap.
Okay.
And that's
Ella,
it. And of course, I might soap.
Is your allegorical claims about this?
The cleaning factor is really easy to teach.
No, Ella,
and there is no problem with.
Ella, they
Please
account
teach
for
us
these
how to
things
wash
in the
those dick
studies.
foreskin.
Ella, they account for these things, Ella. Like they're in the meta-analysis. They look at whether or not these things are being cleaned and treated properly. They look at like first world countries. They look at third world countries. And so in third world countries, you're right, where there's less hygiene, the rates are much higher. But even in the first world, there's still a differentiable factor there. And so it does appear to be the case that circumcision does increase hygiene.
Yes, in that fact, in that matter, yes, you are right there. Yeah, fully. Yeah.
So I just want to make
you can say something about wisdom teeth, but you don't sit there and go pull out the wisdom teeth right when the child comes out, right?
But anyways, I just want to be clear.
Hey, I've been trying to get in. This is why I get all loud and pissy with you guys, man. Look, I just wanted to say one thing to Chum when he scoffed at me. How did they pee in Stalingrad? Oh my God, how did they pee if they couldn't pull their pants down? They had this thing that resembled a garden hose, and they would slip it up their fucking leg pants all the way up and line it up with so they would piss down that hose. So don't sit there and scoff at me. Fucking read history, son. That's how they pee, dumbass.
Anyway.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
So it's possible that they could run a fucking garden hose so they can piss, but it's impossible so they can run a wet wipe up there.
I don't know where the fuck you read that, Shamos, but it's absolute bullshit.
Aside from,
I'd like to know where he's got it from. Is anyone has anyone been?
It's bullshit, regardless.
So I just want to get a word in real quick because we've been trading empirical claims here, but I just want to say like why I probably practically will never circumcise my child. And it's because my goal as a father, the one thing that I always is to protect my child. And the idea that I would cut a body part off my child unnecessarily and watch them cry and risk them having life trauma for some niche medical benefits seems kind of ridiculous to me.
I agree.
So I don't know. Just personally, I'll just go ahead and leave it at that for my own.
I'm curious why you think it would be life trauma when it happened so young that they would never remember it.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that I don't know. I mean, I haven't had enough evidence to rule it out, but I would definitely not risk it, right?
Well, I don't know if it's.
I mean, all you guys have to do is look at the Hippocratic Oath. First, do no harm. And I'm sorry, that seems like it's harm to me. Right?
Yeah. I agree too.
It may be. I don't know.
You're cutting off a body part. I don't know. It just seems weird. Yeah, it's not.
You're also cutting off the umbilical cord.
The thing is,
yeah, but you have.
I would be totally in favor of circumcision if it was like a life or death. Like if it's something that you had to do to like save their life.
Yeah, I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's good either way. I'm really not biased. I don't know if it's good or not. I'm just wondering why you think it would be traumatic in life because.
Well, I don't know. It's not like a necessary thing.
I haven't been traumatized at all.
I'm not saying it's a necessary thing. Well, how would you even know that? People rarely understand if they've been traumatized or not.
So you think that I might be delusional in being traumatized?
No, people
don't realize I'm traumatized.
No, what I'm saying is people will get diagnosed with PTSD. They won't even understand that they have it.
No, first of all, we are not delusional.
Wait. I like to take that a step further. There are kids who are out of control because of bad parenting, and they attribute it to ADD, which is bullshit. Jesus. It happens every day.
Well,
it's just bad parenting.
Do
you have any reason to justify that claim, or are you just gonna?
It's easily logical. If you don't see it that way, then you haven't studied it long enough.
I mean,
okay.
There's a whole field of psychology and psychiatry that would disagree with you. Like, there's
you ever use your
thousands of
foresight?
Yeah, I
like
know,
a
and they're
suction
paid. They're paid to do exactly that, aren't they?
You ever used your
yeah.
foreskin like
No,
a
I mean-
suction cup?
Have I ever used?
Oh, so every kid who's uncontrollable,
I think I have done
without outside of any general
Yeah,
punishment,
wisdom vendor. If you have,
absolutely has
if you,
ADD. Is that correct?
if this is just logical to you, why don't you publish a paper in Nature and get your Nobel Prize?
Yeah.
Yep.
That would
Yeah.
be like insane if you could cure ADD. With
Oh,
giving
so-
prescriptive
So,
parenting
so every
practices,
kid.
you
So,
would-
are
you
you
would
saying
be
that every kid, every
loved.
diagnosed with ADD, absolutely had ADD?
I'm saying that
That's
the
not the point.
diagnosis rates are
Or
incredibly
could it just
accurate.
be that they're badly behaved children and the parents are scared to?
Yeah,
discipline
because the clinical psychology and psychiatry treatments that we can give them are highly efficacious, which would point in the direction of those being
Always?
relevant
Is it
diagnoses.
always?
It's incredibly high.
Oh, it's not
But
always, though, is it?
Bryn, sometimes really people without ADD or ADHD are diagnosed in such, but they don't have that
Okay,
disorder.
Here's the thing, right? ADD and ADHD are a list of symptoms, and if you qualify on some amount of those list of symptoms, then you can get the diagnosis. It's not like the binary state of ADD or not ADD. There are ADD symptoms, and we treat those ADD symptoms with things like therapy or things
So-
like drugs.
So
It depends on
well,
the
let me
degree to which those symptoms are felt.
Is it
right?
possible? Is it possible that the kid is just not behaving well because he hasn't been disciplined?
Yeah,
for
but
not
let's not
behaving
talk
well?
about what's possible. Let's talk about
Yes.
what's practical.
No,
There's
so here's the
actual-
thing, right?
No,
Psych-
possible is
psych-
what's important here.
Wisdom.
No, it isn't.
Psychiatrists
Hey,
and
guys,
psychologists
I've,
don't just jump to
Hello.
those conclusions. They
I'll
actually
give you-
look at
I'll
these
give
things
you-
systematically.
Yeah, I'll give you an example.
Oh, so they're
my
always
nephew-
so psychologists and psychiatrists are always correct. Is that what you're saying?
They're overwhelmingly edge on the side of caution
Oh,
when
so,
it comes
but
to
not
children.
always.
And so what
But
I'd
not
want you
always
to do
correct,
is, if this is your claim, I want you to go find the
No.
research that shows how
No,
many
I'm asking.
false
I'm asking,
positives
is
there
it
are.
possible? Is it possible that they're wrong?
Yes, but that is an overwhelmingly low chance of that.
Oh,
Like,
so they are wrong sometimes,
extremely,
correct?
yeah,
That
but like,
defeats argument. You
That
need to
doesn't
provide
defeat my
counter
argument.
Doesn't it depend on the experience and
Look, you need to provide counter evidence. You're not going to defease his argument by saying they
and
could
the
possibly
patient
be
that
wrong.
the psychiatrist has?
like wisdom,
Are
if
you
you want,
listening to anyone, guy?
wisdom,
Yeah, you
like,
need.
it's an
No, I
overwhelmingly
don't think
low
you're
chance
listening
that they're
anymore,
wrong,
William. You're
and they
not
edge on
listening
the
to
side
what
of
I'm
caution.
saying.
Can I give you an example? a very,
so
a
what
very
you're saying-
clear
wait,
example.
I want to get this across. So you're saying they should prescribe drugs to treat
don't-
ADD?
They don't always prescribe drugs. In the case, like most cases, it's therapy.
No, please let me finish. So you're saying they should prescribe drugs for ADD when they've diagnosed ADD, even though they're not sure, but just because they're overwhelmingly right, they should prescribe these drugs to kids who don't have ADD. Is that correct?
They prescribe drugs when they're certain. And the
Mine-
drugs
There-
work.
you just said they're not certain.
I
But
said
look,
that
you're trying
sometimes
to-
that there are false
trying to-
positives, and sometimes they're
overwhelmingly-
not certain.
You said
Nice.
overwhelmingly
Yeah, and
correct.
then wisdom, I said when they're not certain, they give them therapy instead of drugs.
Guys, I want to give you a very
Hold
good
on,
example.
hold on.
A very good example, please.
Ella, just hold on. I want to get one thing out. Yeah, wisdom. Like, it's not really of much value to point out something like, oh, sometimes they're wrong, right? That's just
No,
not. that
all I'm
doesn't-
asking is it possible that they're just not been disciplined?
I mean, they're
That they have
professional,
shit
guy.
parents.
Really?
That's
That they have
possible,
shit
wisdom,
parents,
but
and they've been
Wisdom,
allowed to run
they
wild
take-
their
This,
entire life.
okay, we gotta.
Wisdom.
Okay, the fat lady's singing. We're gonna start closing the curtains on you, dude. You're not making any fucking sense whatsoever.
Wisdom, they take
You're
these
saying
Do
things
you
These
think
are
into
kids
account.
medical
actually
these are
behave on
medical
a regular basis
professionals.
regardless?
You're trying to induce skepticism over the credentials of medical professionals here, guy. That's what the
What
type of shit
I'm
you're
saying is
pull.
that sometimes
That is what
kids
he
get
says.
disciplined. Do you think I'm wrong?
Oh my
That,
god,
that-
man.
that is exactly
So-
what wisdom says, and I wanted to give you an example from my family. So my brother is a neurologist, okay? My nephew has been born with low oxygen. He has been shown signs of ADD, ADHD. They were not sure. My brother noticed. He told my sister. They got him evaluated. he had hyperactivity. That far they were. Further they couldn't get because he was too young. He was about 4 years old as he got diagnosed with hyperactivity. So my father had the idea, okay, I'm gonna do things with my grandson. He was they were living in the same story house. And he took my nephew every day, just about every day, with a dog around a big, huge pond and let him play and run and let him get him tired. He is an absolute perfect, normal, quiet adult now, without any medication. So, because of my brother who said no medication right now, much too early, even if other doctors say so.
That's just an anecdote.
It's anecdotal.
Well, this is an anecdote, and also
What do you mean anecdote? It isn't a perfect example.
At this point, we might have to put them out of their misery. I mean, it's sad, it's unfortunate, but it's what more can we do?
Ella, that is a form of therapy, and so psychologists would recommend something like that.
Yeah.
They don't just
My brother is a neurologist. My brother is a neurologist who had to be a GP, then a psychiatrist to become a neurologist.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. But the point is...
Yeah, and don't you think he has a bit of idea about it?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like your brother literally prescribed them therapy. That's literally that's what I'm saying, is they don't always just pop them on Adderall. They give them therapy.
My brother did not prescribe anything.
Yeah, he did.
He prescribed therapy.
You did he did a regimented scheduling for different behavioral practices that led to him modulating his behavior effectively based on probably physiological criterion. So like
exactly, and my father had the idea to let my nephew run himself tired and give him other things to see.
I'm gonna snap. I can't do it, guys.
Right.
I can't do it.
Because it's anecdotes and
Shamos, I expect you would snap.
Shamos is getting stir crazy.
You got an aggression in you. You can't.
I'm about to snap. This is intolerable.
Right. Right. It's ridiculous. It is just an example. So not everyone is ADD or ADHD. Yes, and there are plenty of children, especially where I'm living, who have problems because of their parents.
Oh my God, Ella and Wisdom, you guys are unbearable, honestly.
Why?
Because you're using anecdotes and you're not understanding the arguments from anyone.
This is almost a troll.
This is super painful. It's so super painful, man.
Okay, then I'm sorry. I shut up. Gosh, I shut up.
Like, I'm just not interested in your anecdotes. The entire EPA considers these things, right? Like, this isn't just like they don't just pop babies on Adderall.
It was just one example.
A lot of doctors do actually.
Okay, well, what do you mean by a lot of doctors? Qualify that statement.
I mean that more kids who are hyperactive get Adderall than don't.
Sure, qualify that statement.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Adderall just in generally improves all people's behavior, right?
It does.
The fact I don't even know that they're prescribed. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm not a psychiatrist, and I know they're prescribed on a regular
Pharmacists don't prescribe.
No, I didn't say they prescribe. I said I'm not a pharmacist. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I'm well aware enough that so many kids are on it these days that it's insane.
Yeah, and that is not
what
it's not
percentage of the
necessary.
diagnosed population gets put on it?
Yeah, how many? How many are there?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
No, I'm asking you. I asked you first. Remember?
You're the one making the claim.
It is very difficult to distinguish between
and you said
ADD and ADHD and being hyperactive or having problems at home. So most of the parents who are bad parents, they don't even tell you what's going on at home.
Sure,
That's
Ella,
why
show me the studies,
children are...
Show me the studies that say this.
So everything.
Well, I don't have to show you study. I live in an area where it's happening all the time, across from me.
All I'm saying is if you're gonna make a claim that the overwhelming majority of like psychiatrists and psychologists are wrong, you're gonna have to qualify that statement.
I do not say that. Never I would say that. It's just I say
you
that.
and Wisdom have been making statements that are to the
No.
contrary.
I did not make that statement at all. I did not even say that most of the doctors are wrong. I just gave an example that you don't have to give medication for ADD, HD, or ADD straight away.
I'd like to
You
see
can
the
wait.
studies where you're right.
You can wait. Because
No,
it
I'm
is
talking about Bert. I
extremely
want to see the studies
difficult.
where you're
Ella,
right.
in some
Show
and
me
many
all the
cases,
studies
though,
where you're right.
you do. Okay.
When they made claims that the child should get ADD or has ADD and gets Adderall or what have you as a treatment, show me the studies that you have that they were correct and when they were wrong. You don't have those studies? You can't look them up? Really?
I'm currently in the process of doing that for you. If you
Okay,
give me like
excellent.
more than 30
Slow
seconds, I'm
down, Gary, slow down, please. It is incredibly difficult to prove, really to say that someone has ADD, especially when they get diagnosed much too early.
Yeah, there's actually there's no chemical diagnosis, is there?
There.
And we have to
There's
think
only
about
behavioral diagnosis. Is
yeah.
that correct?
And we have to think about the doctors who like to diagnose and prescribe medication because of the money.
I'm coming in.
Because of the money.
I'm coming in. There's literally nothing wrong with behavioral diagnoses. It's just absurd for you to fucking make that assessment. That there's no actual chemical analysis.
How can you chemically analyze really any mental illness?
Have you folks even heard about parents raising a child? You do know that happens, right? And when the child behaves badly, they discipline the child. Y'all understand that concept, correct?
Yeah.
Anyone here not understand that concept?
I've seen plenty of them.
I think pretty much all of them, which scares the fuck out of me for the next generation.
Why is that so laughable? Why is it so laughable? I don't think it's
why is that fucking
laughable.
funny to you?
Because you're making the claim that AD.
I asked 3 questions. What claim did I make?
You're saying that it's overdiagnosed.
It absolutely is overdiagnosed.
Often it is.
Why do you think that?
Yeah. What I'm asking is, do you think it's possible that a child may be diagnosed with ADD and simply be a result of bad parenting?
Oh my God, Wisdom, please quit. Wisdom, please.
Zagron, are you as
Wisdom.
idiotic as they are?
Wisdom, please don't talk about what's possible. That's not relevant to statistical analysis. On average, induction. These aren't.
Well, by all means, let's do statistical analysis without any chemical analysis. Let's just restrict it to whatever the child does or
behavioral
says.
analysis. You're denying behavioral analysis.
Let's do it to voice analysis and behavioral analysis.
So are you denying behavioral analysis?
Like the kids who behave
so are you
badly
are you
automatically somehow needing to be put on a some sort of ADD drug?
Are you denying the use of behavioral analysis?
What I'm denying is the
yes
fact.
or no. Yes or no.
Oh, it's a yes or no?
Yeah, the law of excluded middle.
In a second, I'm going to give you a yes or no, and I'll answer this. No, I'm not denying that.
Okay, so you're not denying the use of behavioral analysis.
Yeah.
So
Now,
what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Okay, so
question
follow-up. Oh my God.
Yes or no? Do you think parents these days are allowed to discipline their children to the point that they need to? Without the threat of
that's just so vague
of family services.
That's just so vague. I can't even
what?
answer it. Yeah,
it's vague.
Yeah.
How do you see that as vague?
It's literally
I'll give you this. I'll throw this over.
You're not.
They're about there's nearly 1 million children a year may be mislabeled with ADD.
Hey, you're reading the Romper article? Please cite their source.
You need to stop making fun of me.
Why?
Ella, you're reading the Romper article? Please cite their source.
Yeah. Yes. Romper.
Yeah, so cite their source.
Yeah, I do.
Romper is a meme magazine. Who the fuck are they citing? Take a look.
Well,
Post
my
the study.
brother.
Post. Yeah, I don't care about your brother. Post the study.
Okay. I'll forget about it. I do not say anything about it anymore. Just think what you want to think and whatever.
What do you mean? I have ADD.
I'm not offended. It's fine. You have the right to think whatever you wish, and that's all good.
Eli,
I'm not arguing about it.
And it explains a lot.
I have ADD. Are you trying to tell me that I was wrongly
growing
diagnosed?
prison population.
So here's the fun thing. In Europe and internationally, there's actually a worry that it might have been underdiagnosed. Take a look at the metas that I've posted.
Yeah, and you said
do you want to criticize behavioral analysis? I don't think it's I don't think it's over. Might actually be underdiagnosed in that. I think that
show the accuracy of that diagnosis.
Yes, I literally just posted it.
No, I'm talking about statistics that show how accurate this is.
What do you mean? Do you want me to post statistics about my statistics?
Exactly.
What the
I'm
fuck
going to
does
show
that
you how
even
ridiculous
mean?
it is, everything you fucking say about this.
I don't even know what
a master source that shows that your sources are accurate.
Come on, guys. This is a discussion, not a kindergarten fight. It is a discussion.
It's a logic thing, dude. It really is.
What do you mean by a logic thing?
What is it, Masters?
What do you mean by that?
What I'm saying is that in nature, if a child misbehaves, on average, these days, it's more likely that they're put on some sort of drug and diagnosed with ADD than they were 60 years ago when they were just parented.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't mean
better.
So that's an appeal to nature. Like
drugs.
Yeah,
that's an appeal to nature and
I
an appeal
know
to tradition.
all you do-gooders.
Neither
This is just vacuous.
It's just
literally
it's vacuous. Yes, that's one of your favorite words of these days, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's an appeal to nature and an appeal to tradition. But I've posted studies showing that it's A, underdiagnosed, and B, that the diagnoses are incredibly accurate, and C, that treatments are incredibly helpful. So what the fuck are you even criticizing anymore? Show me studies now that parenting helps. I've shown you studies that the psychological and psychiatric.
Oh, so you don't even need parents. You just need drugs to raise a child. Is that right?
I did not say that. I said that
sounded implied.
I said that prescriptive. I said that prescriptive parenting practices don't cure your child of ADHD.
It's just a small tool.
As far as I can tell, none of your studies show that they cure them of anything.
Have you looked at them?
They treat the symptoms.
Have you read the studies?
You understand what you mean by treat the symptoms, right? You know that ADHD is a list of symptoms that a child is experiencing. So if the symptoms go away when they're under therapy, or when they're having a drug, that's the exact same thing, right?
Those same symptoms go away if you just comatize them with a drug.
What?
Those same symptoms go away.
Speed.
Comatize?
You do know what Adderall does to you, right?
It's an upper.
It's a stimulant. It's not a depressant.
I know that parents use it as speed.
Yeah.
There's been many parents. Why would that even